Well, I guess the first thing, like we didn't say that story about your Alaskan Malamute, and I missed out on that one.
Oh yeah. That's a bit of it's a bit of a long one, but so it sort of starts. So me and Chrissy, living up in Darwin at Marara there, just going about our merry way, and yeah, we got broken into one night, and a car got stolen. So we woke up that morning with the car just taken off. They left the handbrake on. They couldn't work out the electric handbrake in the Subaru.
Oh, true.
So car was just coming out of the driveway with the back wheels locked. I'm like, right. So I hopped in the Land Cruiser and took off after him. Didn't get him. Probably lucky because I was, I would have done something silly, But anyway, we recovered the car a few days later, or the next morning, sorry, and then brought it back. Locked it up proper, took the battery out, done all the things you should do.
Take the battery out?
Yeah, so because they'd broken in and they'd stolen the key, so they had the spare key.
Right.
So take
the
the battery
into the house and sort of.
Yeah. So they had the spare key, which the battery didn't work in that, but they worked out how to start it, with the proximity thing and whatnot. Anyway, yeah, a couple of nights later, they came back for it. So I was kind of waiting for him. I'd waited up from the whole night before. And then the night after, about midnight, Chrissy says, I just come to bed, you've been up for however many hours now.
Sorry to say, but what did waiting for them look like? I'm just imagining some guy on his porch, like with a rifle, just sit there.
Oh, just some of my tradie tools next to me on the couch. Just to defend myself, of course, if they did come back for it, because I knew we'd got through some video that they'd uploaded on Insta of them cruising around in the car as well in that time. So I've got a few friends that have got a keen eye and that sort of stuff. So they reported back to me.
They had uploaded?
Yeah. So they went live on Insta, driving through parks and everything in this bloody nice car. And yeah, basically, I thought they would come back. I had that feeling. But anyway, I ended up going to bed about midnight, a couple of nights later. But I set a few things up around the place just in case they did break in again, which took them a bit of time to break in.
Yeah.
But from there.
This is not the Alaskan Malamute.
No, this is Archie's a station dog. From there, there's 3 or 4 of them that had broken in, and they were going through the house, but they were pretty stealthy. But I left a little Allen key on the side of a table, and one of them had knocked that off.
Home Alone stuff.
Yeah. And we woke up to that. Just that ting. All right, no worries.
That's so scary to know there's 3 or 4 people that aren't your friends in your house.
Well, I didn't know until I got out. So here's me in my undies and just my torch, my work torch, and I'm like.
The big, like...
No, just the normal one we use for work here. It's just a streamlight torch. That was sort of kept out next to my bed. But anyway, tiptoed out in that, and I was like, all right, I've got him. I've got whoever it is. I'm gonna do him. So here we go. But then I got a kitchen that's like a galley style, so one way in, one way out. I'm like, perfect. Here we go. So I started yelling at him, like, what the fuck are you doing in my house? Blah blah blah. And they turned around. They got a fright. So there's 3 of them in the kitchen, and they sort of thought on their feet, little buggers. And they grabbed the knives out of my knife block. Yeah, so I got a couple of knives held up to me, my own knives. But anyway, I still maintained my position, and I pretended I had the upper hand, which I clearly
So
didn't.
what is, could you just paint the picture of what is that situation? It's all dark or something?
Yeah, so it's all dark, just me and my torch, and they're in the kitchen, so I'm sort of like that. Like, what the fuck are you doing in my house? And then they're like, a couple of words back and forth. I can't remember exactly what was said. But then, yeah, they'd seen the knife blocks in the kitchen and grabbed knives out of those. So we had that sort of Mexican standoff, and I sort of had to sort of do something, but I was like, I'll give you one fucking chance to get out of my house. And they took it, but they kept the knives. Well, one of them kept the knives. And I sort of, there's me just in my undies and my torch. We went out, they went out down the stairs, and then I chased them out down the road. And anyway, so they got away. A couple of years later, I still managed to, you have those moments where you shine a light on someone and you just never forget that face. So it must have been a year later, 6 months, a year later, I still picked that face out of like a photo board.
Really?
So
because those photo boards, everything I've heard is like they're so unreliably and dodgy. Like.
Yeah. I just remember his facial features. Like he had some odd features. So, look, 2 years later, it all went through court. Maybe even pushing 3 years later, it all finished up. He got convicted and everything like that. So I went through with it. So after that. We got a fence and a dog. Dog was the first one, and a good mate of mine, Dan, had been on. He had been away for MasterChef, so he got on MasterChef.
Wow.
But that meant he was away for a full 6 months because he ended up coming third, I think it was, and he wasn't meant to be that long away. But
that's so random.
Yes. So Noodle, our dog, the Malamute, our dog now, and they had a staffy as well. They probably just weren't getting as much love as they usually do. They started fighting.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, perfect. We've got a semi-aggressive bloody Malamute.
Oh, because those both their dog, like.
Yeah, they were both their dogs, and they wanted to give one up. They had to give one up because otherwise they were going to kill each other. They both ended up in the vets and everything like that.
Wow. What was the other dog to take on a huge Malamute?
A staffy.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, we went around and I was like, perfect, we'll have a good big 40-kilo guard dog. Perfect. But turns out she just lays down in front of everybody, but it's just the presence there. So we sort of took her on a trial run, and then probably about a month in, we're like, no, she's ours now. We'll keep her. So from here on in, we've had Noodle the desert dog. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that is so far. Alaska to Uluru, like.
Yeah. So a bit of a story behind the dog, but we love her and she loves us, and she gets around here a fair bit as well.
Beautiful. But, because you were doing a training last night, as I told you, and I saw what I thought at the time was, I didn't really look, but like a German Shepherd or something. I was like, geez, are they using these for fighting fires or something?
Yeah, no, she'd just lay down and watch it. But,
all right, well, I guess now we've got one story in the books. Where does your mind go to? You're happily taken, but if you were at a bar and kind of trying to impress maybe a lady, like what are the fireman stories that you go to?
Oh, the fireman stories. I try and keep it sort of pretty simple with the fire stories, but everybody just sort of asks. So you get into a conversation with someone, what's your biggest job and what's your best job? Whereas some of my favourite jobs is like, it's not so dramatic, but once they realise, everyone kind of forgets we do road crash, but I sort of touch on a few of those.
Do people want to hear about that stuff generally or not?
Well, it depends on the person. Like there's some girls are really into that sort of stuff. So they'll just ask, and then what? But I got a few heavy road crash ones. There's one that sort of I'll do my best not to sort of tell people, but it was a big triple fatal one morning and whatnot, and that was pretty heavy.
What does that look like? What does that mean? What does that look like?
So a bus versus car.
Okay.
Like really close to Christmas as well. So
3 people in the car?
3 people in the car. Yeah, the bus was fine, but without going into too much detail, it was a really messy scene. We had to jack up the bus to get the car out and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, wow.
So that was a big one, but some of the structure fires they're really good. That's my sort of passion, going to structure fires. That's my sort of favourite part of this.
As in like a building's on fire?
Yeah. So I've had some really big warehouses. So it doesn't seem as dramatic as you might some people sort of want, but it's like you got thick rolling smoke with flames running through it, like coming at you, like in huge volume because you're in a big warehouse and stuff like that. So they're my favourite ones, but it's sort of trying to tell that to someone that just wants you to say, oh yeah,
I
I've
ran
pulled this
into
person out, yeah, you know, rescued this cat or whatever. Yeah, they're my favourite ones, which is probably why I didn't, when I was single, didn't pick up that much with those sort of stories. Like, yeah.
Okay, so while we're here then, like,
Yeah.
could you just, and this might be going too into the weeds for anyone listening, but can you paint the picture of what is actually going on in, say, those warehouse fires? Like, what is actually happening? How did it start? What does it look like for you guys when you rock up?
Yeah, so when you rock up, it's generally, sometimes you get really good information, sometimes you get really, really average information, but it just depends on what information is given to the call taker that they relay to you. But yeah, you've got to try and make entry to a structure generally, so you've got to work out how to get in.
So you can't just like fire hoses from the outside? Like,
Generally
I
not.
honestly don't know anything. Like,
if the structure's really gone and structurally unsound, then you've just got to be sort of an outside attack, if you like. Yeah, we generally try and get in and get a look at what's going on. Obviously, we don't go in dangerously in, but we've got to get open doors and whatnot. So, which is one of my favourite bits is breaking into doors. Like I've got this weird fetish about using a what we call a K tool, a Halligan tool, and
is that like a battering ram thing? Or?
No, it's like a. Do you want me to get one out? Or,
Sure.
Yeah, I'll get one out.
Go for it. Cool. Not that stuff. Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, so that's
a good prop.
Yeah.
So talk me through this. How did, I mean, for video, if audio only is not gonna like this, but how would you describe this? It's like a bloody crowbar on one end.
Yeah, so you got your fork and you can get leverage and you can pinch stuff with obviously the centre section and whatnot. That one's not a real sharp one. I do like a sharp one, so you've got a bit of purchase. And you got your pike here, so it's always good to either get locked into something to then grab that leverage.
So what are those somethings? So there's like doors? Or?
Yeah, doors. Doors for road crashes or car fires and whatnot. You got to try and get in the bonnet. You just can't get in there. So
and that's
bang.
what you use?
Yeah, bang and lift it up.
Like what a hoe kind of end on this one.
Yeah. So basically, we'll wedge that inner door. So you're sort of 5 mil ish there. Can turn into sort of your 50 mil. You can create a gap to then push into something. That we'll jam that in a door and either down or up, whatever we want to do with it, or then pull it out. Depends which way the door's opening. So
you feel very comfortable and you're like playing around with it like it's like your favourite toilet.
It pretty much is. Yeah, it's the simplest, but it's one of my favourite ones. So so getting in, you got to get into a structure to see what's going on. And then, basically it's an assessment from there. How far can I go in? How far should I go in? Can I affect what I'm doing from the door?
So I imagine a warehouse and it's usually like a big open space, but it might be full of pallets or something, and then there might be a little office section.
It's always full of something, like whether it's car parts or paint or pallets or whatever.
And do fires usually start from like the kind of officey section?
No, I mean, it doesn't discriminate. It can be from wherever, but often it's been somewhere like a chemical or something like that's been left and, it's somehow ended up on fire or, basically someone's left a cigarette. Like, it can be so simple or left like some sort of element on and then something just heats up.
And what's the kind of most rogue, like you've broken down the door and is there an image or maybe an accumulation of various images of like, shit, this is like the TV show, this is wild? Like,
yeah, there is. So when you see that thick black smoke rolling towards you with flames coming through it,
there's a dragon on the other end.
Yeah, pretty much, and it's blowing through. So, that's that sort of pucker moment where you're like, all right, I'm going to give this a go here, obviously as safe as you can, because we all want to go home. And then, see if you can affect what's happening positively in there. But if it's not, then obviously you've got to retreat and then just do an external surround and drown.
So what is like, I'm going to give this a go? What does that look like? Because the little I know about fire is that, you can use there's foam, there's water, there's something else maybe, and like chemical, can't use electrical, like there's different things.
Yeah. So you got like your dry chem and all that sort of stuff for electrical, which basically extinguishes. Basically we've got to make sure the power's off if it's not electrical fire. Basically hit it with some different techniques we use in there. If that's working, then you can make progress if you need to. If it's not working, then you got to obviously come out.
Technique?
So we've got different.
This is like trade secrets. So.
Yeah, different hose streams and different pulsing techniques, depending whether we want to steam it up. So if there's a victim in there or a casualty, that's savable. We don't want to steam it up too much because we'll just cook them.
Oh, wow.
But so there's a few considerations.
So if you're putting too much water on it, a lot of that will just turn instantly to steam and they'll boil. Yeah,
and it'll sort of bank down, can kind of create an inversion of sorts, and then you'll cook someone potentially. So it's the right amount of water. Is that working? Is it not? How can I change it?
Okay, cool. And when you go, and if that doesn't work, and you go like to the outside to surround and drown, as you say, is that essentially like you're kind of expecting the building to kind of crumble and burn, but at least it's not going to do other buildings next to it?
Exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. So building's compromised anyway. The fire's obviously hot enough. The gases are hot enough so that we can't change anything from within there. So it's protecting everything else around it. So
And when it comes to fighting a fire, obviously it feels cool. I'm going through the door and I am thinking about my own life and the risks associated with that, and there might be other lives victim in the fire. I presume you don't have military experience or something, but does it feel like a battle, but it's against something impersonal? It's not like an enemy, it's a natural event. So
it is in a sense. It's a battle, so it's one you want to win, of course. So you're going in and you're the eyes on the fire, if you like. So you've got to make those decisions. You can be pulled out, of course, ordered out by a boss, and that has happened. It will happen. It will always happen if for whatever reason they deem it's unsafe from the outside, but you've got to make that dynamic sort of risk assessment to see, all right, can I keep going? And what I'm doing effective? Can I keep moving forward, or do I have to hold position or get out? So there's that battle. It's that internal battle because you want everything you throw at it to work, so that you're affecting it, you're putting the fire out and everything like that. You're saving that property or life, so it is a battle in a sense,
So what percentage of your job, and I'm sure it's different wherever you are, but what percentage is like road crash stuff versus like the high stakes stuff? What is there way more road crash than actual fires? Or?
It comes in waves. It really does. You can't, I'll say, if I said today now, I haven't had a road crash in, the longest time. Well, no doubt we'll get one tomorrow. You never know what it's going to be. So, but early on in my career, so sort of cut my teeth up at Palmerston Station, up in Darwin anyway, and it just seemed to be really road crash centric. Everything was road crash, and we got so many jobs. And then
is that where Jordan is? I think
that's where Jordan is. Yeah. So over the course of time, I've sort of moved around everywhere, and I've moved away from Palmerston, and then they get all structure fires, and then it just depends what follows you. You just don't know. So
okay, I'm keen to talk about your kind of career path, but while we're still on fire stuff, I'm from obviously Melbourne, and then bushfires is like the big in-your-face thing. I don't know if bushfires even happen in the territory. I presume so, but probably not in crazy densely populated places like they do down south. Do you have much experience or knowledge about bushfires?
We do. We call them more grass fires here because we do have lots of different types of grasses. We've got the big tall gamba grass. We've got spinifex here and buffel grass down the southern end of the state. But they still move with intensity, and they're still always we have a fire season up in the northern region and so pretty much down here as well. And they all react differently. But there's always jobs at this time of year in the northern region. It's sort of dry season. There's always action, and there's plenty of plenty of weeks where there's been many a structure at threat, and they lose one every now and then. But it's usually just usually saying that, it's always different. But someone's big shed full of vehicles that they've got grass and whatever growing up right next to it over the gutters or whatever, and you're like,
and that's the one that gets lost.
That's the one that gets lost.
But it's not like Black Saturday, kind of Ash Wednesday kind of situations.
No.
Yeah.
And we used to do a lot of sort of pre high season burning as well. So we'd do some burns, but these days that's all contracted out to private contractors up here anyway. So
yeah. Are there main differentials between those big grass fires and the kind of more inner town warehouse stuff?
Yeah, it's a different sort of skill set, but we're all trained to do whichever, whatever pops up in front of us day by day or round by round. So yeah, we're all trained in it. We all sort of know what we're doing.
But you guys don't get sent down to, like, if there's a massive bushfire, or the bushfires, in New South Wales a few years ago?
Yeah.
Do people get sent there?
Yeah. We deployed a heap of personnel down there. I didn't go. Around about that time, I was away in Norway with my partner. So yeah, they sent people down to New South Wales and Queensland several times. So yeah,
okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll help out where we can. But being such a small brigade, it's hard to send lots of people because you're not going to have bums on seats where we are. So
yeah,
but we'll help where we can. Yeah,
okay. Yeah. And speaking about like the territory thing not being huge, like how is it? I guess to begin your own journey, like how. I've heard it's very hard to actually get a job as a fireman. What is that process like, I guess?
Yeah, the process is always used to be basically get a trade, be a tradie, get some life skills or go to the army or something like that, and then come out and sort of apply, and you should be thereabouts to get in.
Okay.
Obviously, most so that's how it sort of used to be. These days,
seems very easy, like pretty.
Well, yeah. I mean, the process once you start the application, then you've got academic stuff, then you've got physical abilities tests, and you've got psych evaluation as well, and interviews. So you still got to get through all of that, but. Yeah, it's no longer that though. They're sort of looking for more of a bell curve of people. So you got some academics, and you still got tradies, you still got army or defence personnel. But yeah, you're getting all sort of people from different walks of life, which is probably positive.
And then is all the training, because I mean I'm just started studying paramedicine, and that used to, I imagine, be similar to here, where it's not like a registered profession itself. It's you're a fireman when you're wearing the uniform, and then off you're just a kind of civilian, and all the you basically get an employer service, and they'll do the internal application and training, and everything's kind of basically under the organisation itself.
Yeah.
And there's nothing other than that really. So what trainings and things go involved? Like how do you learn to become, driving the fire trucks and using?
Oh yeah, so you'll do if you get accepted and whatnot, your applications squared away and everything like that, then you go on a recruit course. So you do, I think it's up to nearly 20 weeks now for a recruit course. So you go and you're basically in school again every day. So they'll start you off with a lot of the necessary safety stuff, and then as over the course of the recruit course, they'll build your skills up along the way. So they'll pretty much throw you in breathing apparatus the third week or whatnot. So you get squared away in first aid, breathing apparatus, then you sort of do grass fire training, wildfire training, and then you'll learn pumps, and then you'll do like suppress urban packages. Like you go through all the different packages if you like, and then you'll end up, you do a bit of structural stuff and road crash. So each week or fortnight is just spaced out at the sort of learning pace, and then by 20 weeks you're sort of ready to go and on the trucks.
And you're like an intern for a while or something?
Yeah, you're still a recruit for the rest of that year from when you started, and then you start going through your rank structure as well from there. So you'll start as a D class, make your way up to A class, and then you got senior firefighter, leading firefighter, and station officer, and it just keeps going up
Okay.
up the
And
chain from there.
Each one of those, is that like do another course at that academy or something, or is it just time under the job?
No, the study for each increment you do. Yeah, pretty much. So each, so you got to earn your rank if you like. So yeah, there'll be some mix of theory and practical stuff as well.
Okay. And this is all within just the state service. It's not like a nationwide.
Yeah, it's all within. So for NT, it's all sort of squared away within us. But there's like there's codes for each unit that you do, probably like the paramedicine stuff that you're doing, that are recognised nationally as well. So,
Okay.
yeah. So
Because that seems like even that 20-week recruit course, I imagine that's quite a big thing, big show to put on. And if it's only, a dozen or so recruits every year or whatever to fill the few seats that are actually available in territory service.
yeah, they struggle with keeping up. So at the moment they're running 2 courses a year, so we're getting 24 in each year.
Oh, so it is a dozen. Okay.
Yeah, it is. It actually is. I thought, I was like, oh, you already knows. Yeah. So yeah, they do a dozen at a time typically, and sometimes they run 1 course a year, sometimes they run 2, sometimes they run none. Just depends on retention, attraction.
Because how many firemen or fire people are in the Northern Territory full-time service thing?
I reckon we're
Roughly.
up to full-timers, we're up to about 240.
Okay.
240, 220, between 220 and 240 it'd be, at a guess.
So that's not nothing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so, but that's, you got your five stations up in the northern region, you've got Alice Springs, and then you've got all the track stations like we are here at Yulara. So,
Yeah. And each one of these has at least one person that's full-time.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
And then, do you mind me asking what rung on that career path ladder you are?
yeah, I'm at station officer, track station officer, which is like, so I'd still have to apply for a station officer role back on the main trucks, the main appliances.
Would that be like the Darwin/Alice Springs station?
Yeah. But if not, I'm happy to go back. I tell everyone I'm not rank orientated. You need it. You need rank and everything like that. And it's good to have there. But if it means when my time's finished here, if there's not a job for me at this rank, back up in Darwin, I'll still go back and go one down and happy days. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And so, what brought you out here then?
A bit of a lifestyle change. So we'd done a dozen years up in Darwin. So yeah, it was that time I'd got my rank as a leading firefighter, and I got a bit of a tap on the shoulder, and I said, you should really have a look at Yulara. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Is that just because the position was coming up, or Yulara specifically has something about it?
Yeah, Yulara probably has something about it. But so we come down and had a look. Like it for us, the attraction is there's an airport right here. We love travel. We love everything that way inclined. Like we're that way inclined. Whereas some of the other track stations it's not as easy to get in and out of. So if I've got relief here and they can spare me, we'll just go to Sydney for a long weekend or Brisbane or.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense because if you're out in Tennant Creek or somewhere even more remote, like.
Yeah, it just makes it hard. Yeah, hard to get anywhere. So it's a day, it's an extra day of travel to wherever you got to get to if you're anywhere else. So, but yeah, I went to Dallas for a long weekend a little while back with my cousin.
Dallas?
Yeah. My cousin
weekend.
Yeah, long story. My cousin flies planes. So yeah, jumped on.
Those discounts.
Yeah,
they're crazy.
Yeah, so
how much was the flight?
It was pretty cheap. It was pretty cheap, man. I was lucky enough to get business class.
I've heard like London to Melbourne, like $130 or something.
Oh no, it's definitely not that cheap. But yeah, it does. It's pretty good. So, and you feel pretty rested when you get there if you're lucky enough to get the good seats.
Wow.
So
how long were you actually in Dallas for?
56 hours. Yeah,
right.
56 or 58 hours.
Yeah. What, 6-day chunk or something like that?
About a 5-day chunk, yeah. So straight out of here, an overnight in Sydney, next morning off to Dallas, straight into it. So yeah.
Okay. And any reason for Dallas, or just because of the meme? Like.
Yeah, just wanted to eat beef, drink beer, and shoot guns. Not in that order.
I feel like you can do a lot of that in the territory as well.
Yeah, a lot of people have guns, but I'm not really, like I've barely shot a gun. So that was one of the attractions. So go in and, go to one of those big ranges they have and go try it out, see what I think of it. And then I love beef, so go and eat a heap of that, and I love beer too. So.
Yeah, and what did it fit the bill?
It did, yeah. Probably could have done with a couple of days longer just to explore a bit more. But hey, when the opportunity comes and you got that bit of relief, just go for it. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, did you end up doing that trade or military or stuff before you started all this?
Yeah, I done a trade. I done a trade in plastering. So done that. Fell into a lot of carpentry stuff as well. I'm not a qualified carpenter, but I do a lot of it, or used to. Yeah, got that behind me, and then sort of eventually made it back. So it's something I did always want to do, but I did get told pretty early on, go get yourself a trade, go get your life experience, and then once you've got that, you're better prepared for, that world that is the fire service. So.
Yeah, because where does it start? I mean, like there's a lot of, I reckon half the little boy population, wants to be a fireman. So was that just you and you had it in you the whole time? Like it didn't grow out of it at 13 or whatever?
Yeah, pretty much. My brother still remembers me talking about it as a kid. So I was either going to be a few things, but hugely passionate about soccer. So I always wanted to be a professional soccer player. And if that, clearly that didn't work out. But if that didn't work out, then it was like, I want to be a fiery. So yeah.
I think I remember as a kid, very, very early memory of like saying I wanted to be a different thing every day. So I think it was Monday fireman, Tuesday, Wednesday garbage truck driver. The only jobs as a kid that even exist.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pilot, I reckon, was in there. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, cool. No, nice. And has there ever been like uncertainty and doubt along that way? I imagine, especially in a trade, apprenticeships, for example, can be brutal, and like, if you have dreams that are beyond that realm, there could be a bit of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Do you remember those early days?
I do. I remember knowing that, like you kind of get, I look at people, so I sort of try and observe people and their language and everything like that as I go through. But, the amount of people that would say to me like, oh, yep, I'm stuck now. I'm just a dumb tradie or whatever. They just say things like that. And I'm like, oh, that's not going to be me. I'm not getting stuck. I'm not going to get stuck. And then I'd see older tradies, screwed up backs, knees, just, old tilers and concreters and even plasterers as well. But just old, sore, bitter at the world. They make lots of money, but, that's not everything. So I just remember knowing that I've got to get out. So I remember I'd rang up my cousin. So grew up in Brisbane. I rang my cousin one day, really complaining, pretty much for a whinge. It's like, I'm ready to get out of this trade. I really want to be a fiery. And at that time, Queensland Fire Service had a pause on recruitment. So new government cut all the funding, pause on recruitment. I'm like, I'm finally ready, and now this is happening. It was an indefinite pause. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Basically spilling my guts out to my cousin. And he happened to be reading the paper. He was living in Darwin, doing his pilot stuff. He happened to be reading the paper, and there was an advertisement for the recruiting. And he's like, how serious are you? And I was like, yeah, pretty much do anything. He's like, right, you're going to apply for this, blah, blah, blah. I'll go and talk to him for you and just see what's required and whatever. And then I reckon 2 months later, I was living in Darwin and started my recruit course.
Sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
And that must be, I can't imagine that not being competitive if there's only a dozen. Like,
it's pretty competitive, yeah.
What kind of things were you doing, other than like, this is all I want to do, but were there specific things that you did or position yourself, or ways you sold yourself to become one of those 12?
Yeah, for me, the big thing was getting over that academic hurdle. Like, limited sort of, not schooling, but, education wasn't my priority while I was at school. It was more about playing soccer and throwing rocks,
Throwing?
Yeah, just, riding skateboards, doing all stuff a kid should do, So, yeah, basically I had to square away all of that. So I was up all night. So prior to making that phone call to my cousin, I was already readying myself, studying, just I went back to year 4 maths, essentially, just to get the basics.
So they giving you an entrance exam, or are they just like, you need a high school certificate, or what's the goal?
No, it was a full academic exam, so a bit of everything, English, maths, reasoning, all that sort of stuff, so spatial awareness. And yeah, basically, so the fitness was no worries. I was still playing soccer 3 nights a week or whatever. And then, as at an interview, I don't know how I sort of sold myself to them, but I just told the truth, really, like just honesty. Came up with I think I had a funny story in there, like slightly borderline, like funny story.
I remember what that was?
I think I vaguely remember there was, one of the guys on the interview panel was the deputy chief at the time. And once I told him where I was from in Brisbane, this and this, he's like, oh yeah, I worked there, blah, blah, blah. We built a station, and it's Logan. So it's kind of described as crime centric or whatever. So, and it's not that bad, but anyway, it's got a name, and he's like, yeah, we put this fence around this station, and we're constructing it, and we couldn't keep the buggers out. Every morning there'd be something broken into or whatever. I'm like, oh yeah. And then I don't know, I think I just told a joke about, it's like a mate
You threw rocks at the phone.
Yeah. It was just around a car and a stereo, and like a mate had run out of petrol or something like that, and he'd come back to his car, and he was, I don't know, flat tyre, but didn't have the spare, so I had to come back and put the spare on. Whatever, he was taking the old one off, putting the new one on or whatever, and someone was in there trying to get the stereo out. And he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, fair game, mate. You got the wheels. I'm going to take the stereo, sort of thing, like.
So he thought he was.
Yeah. It was something like that. So
That's hilarious.
Told that story, something like that. Old mate nearly fell off his chair. So, and then probably sold myself in other ways. And it was pretty honest and pretty much.
If you can make an interviewer laugh, I feel like you're in a very, very good spot, because that must be so bloody boring. Like sifting through the chaff of just.
Yeah. So it would have been borderline, but the rest of the interview must have got me over the line, I reckon. So, but that's how that worked out. And then what are we? 13 odd years later, here we are.
Epic. And I guess this is an interesting point, because I don't know how much you think about or like how connected you are to that time of life of like pre-Fireman stuff, and Brisbane, therefore you're from, because that was going to be a question.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's one of those professions that has such an identity around it, like just uniform, public figure. Is it weird, like, I guess what's the relationship with your identity of like, this is where I'm Doc, Alan Docherty, versus I'm the fireman, especially I'm the only fireman in town here. Like, have you thought about that much at all?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a juggle around here, because it is it's a fishbowl, let's be honest. Like, and it's fine that way. It's a resort town, and everyone knows each other, and it's good, providing you're doing the right thing, which we always try and do. I'll probably say as much as like I can't be my total self around here, which isn't like. Everybody knows what's going on. If we have a bloody party and whatnot, I'll always just reserve myself a little bit, just don't have too many drinks, because I still am like the station officer here, I've got to maintain that kind of facade, if you like. But that's okay too. We've got. It comes with the job. That's the responsibility you take when you come somewhere like this, and you're still, even like you said, out of the uniform, but you're still somewhat representing, who you work for. So
yeah. And then I guess even internally for you, if it's been such a dream for probably as long as you can remember, for all intents and purposes, and something you dedicated at least this much of your life to. even for you, is there a weird border between, like, so for instance, if something happened and you just couldn't be a fireman ever, like,
Yeah.
how would that go down?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really thought about it. Yeah, it wouldn't be ideal. It wouldn't be ideal. Like it'd be.
I guess what parts of your personality are unique? This is a bit deep and philosophical,
Yeah.
but like everyone's unique and individual and whatnot. But there's only a certain amount of jobs in this society, at least. So like we all kind of try to find one that most, like the percentage of us it aligns with. So this might do 90% of you's covered.
Yeah.
It's still going to be that 10%, and that 90% could be 70% of the way there in some other thing. Like, do you, I guess, notice parts of you that are like, oh, this is me and this is why I'm here. This is me also, and it's actually kind of against fireman stuff, but it's not big enough to even worry about. Like,
Yeah, no, I probably identify with like being a fiery more than anything. So if it was taken away from me, then that would actually suck, and I would be pretty. Yeah, I don't know what I'd do, but I'd come up with something. I'm pretty resilient. Pretty. Yeah. I'd always be all right. I'm always going to be all right, whether I'm a fiery or not. But yeah, I think I pretty much have done it long enough now to identify pretty much as a fiery. So to not do it, on my own terms, couldn't see sort of myself quitting on my own terms anytime in the next however many years. I was sort of, I'm not much of a planner, but I'd planned my life as of when I got this job. Like I've done those hard yards as a tradie. I don't really want to go back there full time. I could, but I don't really want to. So that, I can do this and hopefully segue into retirement from here in still going to be 20 years at this rate, maybe more, unless any investments come off. But
any altcoins?
Yeah. We've all tried something, haven't we? But yeah. So no, I think to not be a fiery wouldn't define me, but I'd rather be a fiery than not. Yeah.
And I guess rolled up in that is a lot of people, especially the people who feel themselves to be a bit stuck in whatever position they find themselves in life, your fellow tradies back then, for instance, have some semblance, and it might not be very well kind of laid out because it's kind of scary to think about if your present life is so far removed from this. But a lot of people have like an almost escapism dream of sailing the world or, running off to the farm in Colombia or something.
Yeah.
And I would assume that's not as strong, if even existent at all within you, because this is your dream, or is there something like that still in the background?
It would be nice to be able to do the perfect summer between here and Norway. So Norway being where Chrissy's from. So that's sort of, it'd be nice to be able to sort of work out later on in 10 years time or whatever, a bit of job share sort of stuff, and maybe try and segue to sort of, 6 months here, 6 months there, something like that.
Would that in your head look like you are a fireman there for half the year, or is it like a fireman here who only wants to do half the year?
Yes.
Can you like share the full-time split or something?
Yeah, it'd be something like the latter one. It'd be too hard to do that constantly over there. We are looking at an exchange program as it is for 2027.
As in the organisation of...
Yeah, I've been approached from someone in Norway, and then I've sort of put a few things out there. So we'll see if it comes off. It's a bit of a pie in the sky, but if it works, then I can go do a year there at least, and then that'll sort of determine whether I really like it there. So I go there for holidays and it's great, so
everywhere's going on holiday.
Yeah, but day-to-day stuff, maybe in like March when it's all dreary but still freezing, the sun's not out, it's just day after day, like a bit of a slug. So yeah, we'll have to get through all of that to determine whether, but hence the sort of perfect summer, chase that perfect summer at some point. That'd be good. But obviously a lot of things would have to fall into line to do that. But
our summer is their winter, but unless you're in the territory where it's like this is technically winter, but it's probably better than the summer in the Territory, right?
Yeah. So,
A bit of a spanner in there.
yeah, it does. We've wrestled with that. Like, do we go to a winter and then come back for a dry season up north, or come back down here for a winter, or what do we do? So we sort of, and then do we stay then 9 months to a year here, and then to flip the roles and make it a summer over there, and then a winter here. So it's pretty. So we haven't got that far with it.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't anyway. Chrissy probably has. She's probably already worked it
in the
out.
tourist info.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. I'm like, I definitely want to do this degree, and I definitely want to have maybe a year in the ambulance service. But from all reports, and I presume fire service is somewhat similar, they do not have a lot of flexibility. Like, you're in it, and you're in it kind of more or less the way they dictate. And then if you go out of it, it's maybe difficult to go back into it. And
Yeah.
so for me, who's got every intention of traveling for, at least a year or two in a block within the next 5 or so years, I'll probably not join until that's kind of out of my system to a certain degree.
Depends where you work, whether you could do I'll introduce you to the clinic here.
Yeah.
I think a lot of guys just come in for X amount of time, then go, then they come back.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a different field.
I guess it's going to be very different how it operates here to Sydney.
Definitely. I was reading a thing a while back, and it was centered around the Victorian Ambulance Service, whatever they're called. But they were it ended up being like a 7-year career expectancy, just because of how busy they are and how heavy the jobs are for them.
My tutor, the head of the program, has been out of uni for maybe 7 years herself.
Yeah.
She's like, I think 30 or 40% of her peer group already gone.
Yep.
And there might be, I presume you have to check.
It's Chris. That's all right.
Don't put anything work on mute, of course.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good.
And it's cool in paramedicine, at least, because now it's because it's become a registered profession. So you're not a paramedic just because you're wearing the uniform, but you individually are registered in an above thing. Therefore, there's a huge private industry very quickly growing and stuff. So that kind of allows a lot more flexibility for that side of things. But I imagine that's a long way off, if ever, happening here. So
yeah. I mean, there's always opportunity. Let's say the fire service didn't allow me the flexibility to do what I wanted. There's mines rescue. I'm all called up in that sort of stuff as well. So there's mines, could fly in, fly out of mines if
what do
need
they
be.
do, those mines rescue?
So there's confined space rescue. There's vertical rescue. There's issuing work permits. There's
Are they busy? Because that sounds pretty cool, getting people out of mine shafts. But does that happen all the time?
No, you got to be on standby, and you're forever drilling when you do it. So. There's always that, and they love fireys and those sorts of roles as well. So there's sort of firefighting involved in that as well. So
Cool.
there is always scope to do something outside of the box if need be.
Yeah.
But coming and going from services, I mean, they've got to evolve, because the younger generation, I can see that in them as well.
We do not want 9 to 5, this and thing, and then 30 years until we retire. And then no one I know wants that.
And I think some forward-thinking governments and that or departments are thinking of that as well. So how do we, costs X amount to put someone through training. Once you've been in for a couple of years, they've already put in, let's say, throw a number out there, $500,000 towards you. Well, then why would they, if you want a flexible work arrangement or something like that, job share if you need to, why wouldn't they, rather than, okay, we'll get another recruit and train them up, and the same thing's going to happen. So
you say it like that, then I think the fireys probably have better chances, because paramedics have to do uni, so it's it's on their own dollar.
Yeah, how long's the degree?
3
years,
full degree,
Yeah.
There's heaps of competition apparently for. I don't really buy into that, because that seems very limiting to it might be heaps of competition for New South Wales ambulance, but I feel like if you're flexible with your say and you're flexible with your role and stuff, it can't be that bad. But
Yeah, I think so. I think, yeah, if you don't want that, if you're not pigeonholed to a particular region or anything like that, then you're going to be all right.
Okay. So other than the excruciatingly scary prospect of never being a Fari again, have you got, and again, I mean, I'd love you to go into full in-depth detail, but I appreciate that often that's not, what you want to do. But what's, I guess, the scariest moments you've had on the job?
Yeah, I haven't had too many sort of close calls.
Have you heard of stories or people that you're close to that maybe through their fault or the thing of the situation itself? Does it happen?
Oh, it can happen, yes, but there's been nothing. We've had a few people go down with heat-related illnesses, and that's probably the biggest killer up. It's not killed anyone yet up where we are, but trying to put measures in place to stop that. But yeah, heat's a big one for us because all of a sudden you're into a duration of breathing apparatus, and all of a sudden, you've been working hard for, let's say, 25 minutes, half an hour in crazy heat.
And I guess you're wearing these crazy gas masks and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So you you're weighted down by everything you're wearing. So
is the breathing harder?
It's harder if you don't concentrate on it.
Okay.
So if you just sort of a bit like you've done scuba, you've done a lot of breathing. I take it. If you just sort of try and do everything methodically, you just sort of that calms your thinking down as well. So
you guys are doing breath work while you're fine.
Yeah, that's we're not at that level yet. A few of us do a bit of breathing, but not everyone. It's not like a.
You got good nostrils for it.
Yeah, I know. I can. Yeah, I got the Dyson nostrils here. Yeah,
I'm jealous. I had tiny nostrils and they squeeze in when I try, and I'm always closing my mouth while I work out. But
yeah, about time my nose come in handy for something. But yeah, close calls. I haven't had anything really. I've had a few things. I've had a guy fall through the floor in front of me, on a 2-story structure fire. Had to sort of
the fireman
help him out. Yeah. We managed to he sort of somewhat caught himself and got him up.
God damn.
That was a while back.
What happens there? Is that floorboards disintegrating?
Yeah, floorboards gone. Yeah.
That'd be so scary.
Yeah, there's been a few. Trying to think. There's nothing. Grass fires are the most dangerous, I think. Sometimes you'll be literally driving through. You'll be on the back of one of these, back on a grass fire unit, and you'll literally have flames coming over you. So all you're doing, you've just got the hose there, just hoping it doesn't push right on you.
So you guys are that close while driving?
Sometimes. If you're trying to get out of not if you're parked in it. Yeah, that would absolutely happen. But yeah, when you're trying to get through a break to get to the next spot of safety or whatnot, if the fire turns around, the wind changes, or there's lots of things that can happen. Then you got to get yourself out of there. It's been.
So it's like a wave of fire.
Yeah. So I've had a few of those. A few close calls there, but everyone in the service would have had a few of those, just about. Right. There's been a few pucker moments with that.
Pucker moments.
Yeah, pucker that bumhole. Yeah. Yeah.
Are there I don't know if that's a specific. I've never come across that term, but that's what you meant. But are there? And maybe you can't reveal these. Maybe you'll be seen as a traitor. But are there inside jokes within the fire service that no one would even think of or know? Oh
no, there's not always. Sometimes there's a bit of dark humour. When you've been to a heavy incident, someone might just say something slightly inappropriate, just within
the families wouldn't probably want to know.
Just within the confines of the group, and that's I think it's a process of letting some of that trauma out. You know what I mean? Immediately, but it's not something we practice. But there's been a few comments in the past. What did you say? But you're looking around, and obviously everyone's pretty socially aware that it's not for the outside world, but yeah.
So how do you guys especially with those road accidents, I imagine you're seeing death, and not just death, not just, you know, an old elderly person kind of pass away in their sleep, but some, I mean, yeah, brutal shit, I imagine. Like, how do you personally, and then how does the service kind of support that and stuff, like with mortality?
Yeah, there's definitely there's help out there for us. We've just got to press that button, and people can reach out to. We've got services available, but generally, I've found, and I can't speak for everybody or anybody apart from myself, I find just chatting with the crew. Just chat with the crew. Stay as long as you need after that shift or whatnot. And usually by the end of that, you know, you might have a couple of sleepless nights, and then it sort of fades for me. But we end up sort of joking about some of the funnier stories as well. So outside of, you know, the trauma, we always, hey, you remember that?
What's the funny story? Like, funny as in gruesomely funny?
No, I mean, I got reminded a few weeks back, I was up catching up with, it was actually Noodle, the dog's old owner, Dan, and he won't mind me saying it, but we got to a job, big human, big large guy, and we thought we had to break in because no one could get in.
So was this his house on fire or something?
No, it wasn't even on fire. It was a medical call. Right, so ambulance had.
Oh, and they need you strong, you know, guys to help lift.
Well, they needed us to break in to start with, so here I am.
Because he didn't fit out to the doorway or something?
No, just to get in, to get access to him. So let's say paramedics rock up to something, and you know everything's locked.
Because he's just cool, but everything's locked. Okay, right.
Easy to call the fireys. We got less paperwork for that than the police, so it's easier for us to do that. But yeah, there was a guy, and I don't even know. We must have beat the paramedics there this time. But I remember getting in, and yeah, there's a big guy laying on the floor, naked. He might have had undies on. He might not have. It's pretty vague now, but anyway, we thought he was dead, but couldn't really see if he was breathing. I'm like, hey, sir. Like, probably much nicer than that, but, you know, just touch him with the back of the hand and whatever, and he came to. And he jumped up and grabbed me, and he was wrestling me, wrestling me around. I'm in all my gear. I'm like, hey, I'm here to help. Big sweaty, and all the boys are just like, what is going on here? They come in and I'm wrestling this big dude. But anyway, we got him sorted. And calmed him down, but yeah, I was just happy he was alive, you know.
That's so funny.
So there's plenty of those, but every now and then you get reminded of those. So I think the humour, the day-to-day humour helps. You know, it reminds me of either playing sport or being a tradie. You know, it's that there's a lot of that. If you give someone a little bit of shit, if you like it means you like them. It's that term of endearment, you know, like, oh, you know, yeah, just throw something at them, not throw something at them, but just throw a comment at them, and then it's like, all right, we're on a bit of banter here. All of a sudden, 5 minutes is gone, and you had a good laugh, and then the rest of the day's better, you know. Yeah. So
nice. And like, what keeps on, because stories like that are just so funny, and I certainly feel very attracted to like that kind of thing being just my job and my life and whatnot. Yet it seems, whether it's ambulance or fire, whether it's here in Yulara or Darwin or Sydney or whatever, seems all over the shop of like the ratio of kind of funny, kind of memorable things, even maybe traumatic, but at least memorable things versus quote unquote boring things versus training versus, I mean, you guys have it real good and just like hanging around the station and it's all the amenities. So like, what would the ratios be of all those aspects of the role?
Yeah, so there's a bit of a stigma saying that, you know, we just sit around in
I think Jordan was telling me he gets better sleep when he's at the station
than
at home.
Well, and it depends on the time of year as well. Like, so right now Jordan wouldn't be getting much sleep because he mainly works at Palmerston Station and there's grass fire season, so yeah, he'll be out 2-3 times a night generally. So day to day, I've got a little, you know, just throw a catchphrase out there all the time. I'm like, all right, boys, we'll give the morning to the community, and we'll give the afternoon to ourselves. You know, like, so we get all the jobs done, make sure the station's clean. Sorry, this is a little bit dirty in here. We've had dust storms and training last night.
So. There's like 2 leaves.
Yeah. But yeah, just make sure all the jobs are done, especially if I'm boss or I'm not boss, it doesn't matter. If all the jobs are done early, all right, go out, do whatever community engagement we've got to do. We'll couple that with a coffee somewhere.
What is that?
A bit of smoke.
Community engagement?
Community engagement. So we might have building inspections, or we might have...
You guys do that?
Yeah, we do all that from a fire compliance side of things and whatnot. But yeah, we'll do building inspections, or we'll go do a school visit or something like that. And then it's always via a coffee shop somewhere, grab a feed, grab a coffee and whatnot. Be seen. I'd prefer to be seen, to be honest.
That is good. If your kids are seeing you, like, fire truck pull up at school, and then, you know, the parents are seeing them like at the cafe, like, that's a nice vibe.
Yeah. So, and then afternoons, you know, do your study if you're studying for your next increment, or, you know, you might have some personal stuff on as well. Do a bit of that, get in the gym, do your gym, and then that's your... Between call-outs, because there's most days on a normal metro station, you'll get call-outs anyway. So in between your call-outs, the day's done. We'll all eat together, by the way, as well. So we'll try and cook up together, eat together, and that sort of brings the team together, brings the crew together, I reckon. And then night shifts are a bit different, you know. Night shifts, we might have a drill to do.
How does a night shift? That's a mystery. I didn't even think of asking this question, but I imagine no one even knows what a night shift looks like. Like, yeah, could you run me down? Yeah. So we'll come in, do our jobs as usual, do our checks. So we've got to do checks every time we come in, make sure our equipment's ready to go. If there's like gas in the petrol in the car, and there's like...
Yeah, everything's ready to go. Make sure there's milk in the fridge, you know, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we'll go in, do what we've got to do. It might be drills, it might be some sort of community engagement stuff. It's rare on a night shift. And then, you know, we'll eat, we'll respond to whatever we've got to respond to, and then after 10 o'clock, technically, it's stand down time, so we can go to bed. But with the likelihood we'll get called out, so I'm probably a late sleeper at work if I'm honest. So I won't go to bed before 11 or 12 generally. Just always doing something. But
and do you? I mean, you give me the impression that you're kind of a model firefighter yourself. Are there?
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Well, as in like. Maybe whatever, but you seem to, like, you know, be cleaning the floor to 2 leaves and doing your study and whatnot.
Yeah.
And this is not an opportunity to throw people under the bus, but I guess, have you noticed that there's maybe old times that kind of take it for granted, or, like, you know, young kids that are really try hard, or, like, you know, people who are kind of slack it? Like, is there that, like there would be in other things, or is it more because it is... So the people have really chosen to do that, and they've kind of funneled themselves into kind of one thing. So it would be expected you want to be here and you do it.
Yeah, no, it's like any workplace. You'll have the doers and the not so doers. But I reckon I get around the old guys, the old timers. They've done everything. Let's give them a break. But, you know, some of the guys, you know, might be slightly overweight. They might be. You know, might have that old knee injury or whatever that's plaguing them, but sometimes they're the handiest old heads on a job, and they're like, I'll always lean on them and go, what do you reckon about this? You know, and they're like, oh yeah, I had this back in 1986 or whatever, and this is what we done here, and it worked really well. All right, cool. Give me a hand. Yeah, no worries, done. You know, like, so. No, really get around the old guys. It's the newer members. If they come in and they're slack, then we can jump on them. But we will go through times. It's you know, it's just a case of asking the question. Everything all right? You know, not everyone's life's great at home or whatever as well. So you might notice someone a bit off or slacking off a bit. You're all good. Yeah, or no, you know, got a bit, you know, kids are crook or whatever. So you give everyone a bit of a chance. So it's like that old football team, soccer team kind of for me. It just sort of takes, you know, no one's going to be energetic every day either. Like the amount of times I've come in hungover or whatever as well. So you say that model firefighter, but I've come in sometimes and gone, yeah, I hope we don't get, you know, obviously low on zeros, you know, but yeah, sometimes
you're always ready, and there's times where you're more ready there.
Yeah. So you're like, I hope we don't get anything big today. And what happens generally when you don't want it, you get something. But you just get stuck in. But for me, that comes from throwing back to the tradie days. I had no choice. I worked for myself. You either get up and go to work, even though you're hungover or not feeling great, or you don't make any money. So it's just the way it is. Whereas some people without that experience might,
because that's the nature of working government. Like, I feel like I'm saying this for the first time now, but I feel like any even remotely government staff should have had 5 years in the private sector just to instill, like, don't be a dickhead, don't waste money, wage, like, because private sector is never going to have any time for it.
No.
The public sector seems to have a hell of a lot of time for it in certain,
certain realms, and you can tell the people that have never worked in private industry, and they bring a different set of skills to the table.
Bureaucracy, paperwork.
Definitely.
Pretty judgmental there.
But I'm good on balance there. You don't want to be. For us, you don't want to fill our day up because you don't know what you're going to get. You just don't know what you're going to get. Whereas you got to, it's that cup half full. Do something. And I joke about it, but I'm kind of serious. Like, give the morning to the government, give the morning to the community, but then afternoons for us. So
it feels like in a very good way, it feels like an old school position in society, like a 1950s traditional setup, which seems to be rapidly vanishing. I mean, I'm too young to have said over the course of my lifetime, but it still seems like everything's becoming, AI threatened and races and stuff, and then you got some firemen kind of doing things how they've always kind of done it and not getting left behind. It's just that's the most efficient way. Do you feel like that? Do you feel like I hear people, for instance, they found their partner before online dating existed, and both of them are mutually like, oh my god, thank god we're not in the modern dating market. And I get the vibe that it might be the same for like the modern job market. If you're a farmer, you're like, oh, thank god I'm not in this.
Yeah, well, luckily I've done a bit of everything with that, so been on the online dating as well. And it's not how I met my partner, which is a good thing. But with work, I think a lot of our stuff is we're very strong in character in the sense that we don't particularly like the way it is, but we don't like change either. So that's that sort of...
As in how the organisation system...
Yeah, as in what we do. We're not going to have someone come in, and I'm speaking generally, not for myself, but we're not going to have someone come in and say, now you will be doing this every day.
They revolutionise it.
And you'll be...
Paint the truck rainbow.
Yeah, all sorts of things. Although we do paint the truck a bit when it comes into protected action time, but with obviously removable markers. But I think we're pretty staunch in our beliefs that union-wise, and it's the first time in my life that I've actually really embraced a union because our union's great, and without it, all our conditions and all the stuff we love wouldn't be there. So
So how does the union work? Because I don't know much about unions at all, other than like CFMEU down.
Now there's a different.
That's dodgy as shit.
But if you ask the workers, they're pretty happy.
Right.
And that's what I held off for first. While I was on recruit course, actually, from joining a union, because I had been on job sites with CFMEU and all that sort of stuff, and I did not like it. So I just held off and made my own judgments, and I'm like, I'm in this, I'm all for union now in our realm. But basically, we'll fight for our rights and we'll keep them. And as every negotiation happens, then you've got government, always, doesn't matter, Labor, Liberal, whatever. They're always going to try and save money somewhere and want to create efficiencies and all that sort of stuff. And that's their job. That's all good, whatever. But we're the people that just say no. No. I think our last negotiations went on 3 years, 4 years, and we just kept saying no.
So you, the government, trying to place this or that change that probably won't be good for you guys, and
and basically slowly try and chip away and take things off us, and we don't like that.
Do you personally know, like just a microcosm, so to understand and put in context, like what is something that you might have taken or tried to take away, and the union stood fast? And
what have they tried to take away? They're always trying to take our leave, and that we get a pretty good leave bank and all that. But we work shifts and we work Sundays and we work, we're away from our partners X amount of nights a year and all that sort of stuff. So they'll always have a crack at that. But it's the simple things like we just want 3%. Just say, for instance, we just want 3% increase. It's actually less than CPI, something like that. Like,
like annual salary.
Yeah, we'll give you 1.5. And you're like, no, we asked for 3, and now you wanted to do this. All right, now we want this, So that's where the fire service people...
Now we want 5.
Yeah, pretty much. And it'll just happen. Then we start writing on trucks in the end, and we'll...
because we saw that in the ambulance, I think. In Victoria.
Yeah, ambulance do that as well. I think we probably pinch that off the ambulance.
Because in a sense, like, it's pretty hard to go on a strike, because then what? You just let half the buildings full, like.
Well, we that's one thing we can't do.
Yeah.
So, and we'll pretty much refuse. We won't strike, but that's a tool we have. We can ride on the trucks, but it's things that. And we'll fight for everything. We've had to fight for like cancer legislation and all that sort of stuff. So we recognise for cancer. Yeah. So we've had to put in a huge body of work, and it wasn't me. It was other union members.
Because you guys have increased emphysema or lung cancer. Right?
Yeah, testicular, prostate, all of them. Like there's about 18 registered cancers at least, directly attributed to firefighting.
Do you happen to know, is it the fires, the smokes, the chemicals used?
So everything. So with the testicular, they kind of think the heat.
Yeah. Okay.
So the heat with that, and then...
I'll take this off.
Yeah, you're right. Then you've got... you've got carcinogens and that. And then we're going back in the day, they didn't have as good equipment as we got, and we're just continuously improving it, our equipment, which is good, and trying to reduce the contaminants, but it's all there. They've got chemicals in everything.
For things to actually work though, it's like they're gonna be cooked stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, the best working things are usually, the asbestoses of the world. And
Exactly. And it's, no one ever has I say it a bit, no one ever has a fire in a house that's beautifully clean and, built out of the best building products and, the safest place ever. No, it's that house that's full of asbestos, full of clothes, full of chemicals in the garage,
True. Yeah. So like pots of paint and random fuels and stuff are burning up, and you've got these regulators, but they probably don't filter out everything.
They do. We're breathing clean air.
Okay. Do you have tanks? Because you have tanks on.
Yeah, we've got 300 bar tanks. So, basically, but you're still getting, carcinogens, you're still getting everything. And then if you're standing outside, wind changes, you're still breathing in stuff. So, we're exposed to a lot. So we're, unions will fight for that for us. And,
cool.
It's always, we're getting that sort of stuff recognised within, want government to support that.
Yeah. And I guess even those little things of making sure you go to the schools and stop at the cafes means the general population is further on your side.
Yes.
For your own interest when it comes to...
Yeah, it's that double...
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
Nice. And I guess on the organisation question, you laid out roughly how it works with like your own personal progressions through it. But then on even a micro or a macro level, whichever floats you, but who makes the decisions? Is it all just like following a letter of guidelines and stuff like that, or are there individuals who make decisions and stuff? Like how does it actually work as an organisation?
As an organisation, yeah. So everything flows up essentially. The chiefs will sign off on most things.
The chief of like the state service?
Yeah. It's got the NT fire chief. It'll definitely sort of there's things at a lower level that the district officers and that could sign off and get going, and each department has one of those, and then deputy chiefs and all that. So there's a few layers, but ultimately with anything big, the chief will sign off on it. So, but it has to sort of be vetted and everything before anything gets to him, and anything work related basically stops with the chief. Yeah.
Okay, and I don't know if you're willing to say this, but are there... Okay, so I'll put this in context. We just had our first semester of paramedicine, so first 3-day little non-emergency patient transport placement. So it's very I don't want to say it's low level because it's not extremely important.
Yeah.
But it's not running around an ambulance, and picking up heads off the car crashes and stuff.
Yeah.
It's low acuity. But it was awesome for me to be part of the health system and kind of see that from, I guess, the inside. Wow, from people's houses to nursing homes to hospitals to emergency things, and the nurses and the doctors and the assistants and the reception. This is just what a monstrous beast, and no one person, one system, one idea, one generation could sort this out to make it as efficient as possible, as useful as possible. But it works decently well in the meantime. And the reason I say all that is there's so many little points, and I imagine the further you understand things and live within it and kind of put more of yourself into it, you really notice and maybe even get emotionally attached to the little inefficiencies, the little systems or the quirks or the individuals and maybe the power plays. So I guess, what are your frustrations, or if you had magic wand in government, what would you change, and what is the obvious thing? This is so obvious to change, why has no one done it? Or maybe you don't have a high enough bird's eye view to even see why that is how it is.
No, I think it's being listened to. So basically, there's so many people come up with good ideas, and then try and improve little parts or their own lane. If someone picks a lane to go in and they sort of try and make incremental improvements, and it doesn't always happen. And then what I see is people then get disheartened, and then they just sort of put the queue in the rack, and they're like, oh, well, I tried.
How does that look?
That'll do.
Does your mind go to someone or something or some improvement? Or?
No, nothing in particular. But there's been plenty of people that have tried to go, oh yeah, this is a good idea, whatever. But I'm probably going back a step. We're pretty under-resourced. We're a small service, a small organisation, and everyone sort of generally goes above and beyond, so, and that's good. But what that means is there's so many people acting in different roles and all that sort of stuff, so that no one can make a decision on things. They're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yep, no worries. That goes on someone's desk, and then they're that busy that they just don't get to it, and they're like, oh yeah, that was a year ago. Oh well, I give up. All right, on to the next thing.
Right.
So that's probably some of my frustrations within the job. But you can either choose to be bitter, like I said, put the queue in the rack and go, oh well, I tried to help once, and then leave it there, or you can just oh well, that's the way it is for now. We'll see what happens later on.
Sure. And I guess with something which is the nature of most government bodies, but especially something like this where it is life and death, and the health service as well and the military would fall into the same bracket.
Yep.
It's not that you're not rewarded for experimentation and novelty, but you can be seriously hurt if you tried it and it failed. I don't know, if you try a new hose or whatever, and it doesn't work or something bad.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, if you step out of that lane and you don't do what's already almost, let's say, legislated, you're doing something else and you stuff up, you hurt yourself or someone else, then you're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, cool. Okay, and I guess you said, I'm glad you said that you're from Brisbane, because then I didn't have to ask. But about the territory and your time here, how does, I guess, you seem pretty set in the territory. Is the territory the place for you and for your partner? Even your Norway thing was
Yeah, it definitely is for the foreseeable future.
And that's not just because the fire service, or I guess, fair enough if it's the fire service and the life you've kind of built in the last 13 years, but do you see something outside of that?
The people for sure. So I've met some of the most amazing people since I moved up. So yeah, I've got a great friend base. back up in Darwin. I've already made good friends around here, and Alice Springs already. So it's just so easy. People are much easier going than in the big cities, and it's just easier to, I don't know, network, and you don't have to try to network if you know what I mean. You just do the right thing.
People here, the new guy in town. So.
yeah. If you do the right thing, you're all right. But the thing with the Territory, you do the wrong thing and you are punted. Like you are, people don't forget. So, which is fine with me. But no, look, we'll see where we end up eventually. But for the time being, Territories is pretty good. It's still kind of the last frontier in a sense. It's like it's our Texas, so people still shoot guns. People, we've got the 130k speed limits. We got. You can go camping just about anywhere. There's no toll roads, there's all the...
I didn't even think about that. They're on a toll road.
All the little wins that you've got there. Yeah, you miss out on a heap. And sometimes if you do have a medical problem, you're best flying south somewhere. But yeah, so... I guess we've made our life here in a sense. Something I haven't mentioned. I've got a daughter back in Brisbane. She's 18 now. So, and what I do, she loves coming out here. So now I'm not over there as much. So I've made a bit of a commitment that first nearly dozen years. I'd sort of every 6 to 8 weeks, I'd either made it down to Brisbane or she'd come up.
Okay.
So pretty much for that period, but. Yeah, the fact that she loves coming here now is good, but I still go over there and see her, and I've still got old friendships that'll never die over there. So it's always good going back. But every time I go back, it gets busier. I don't know, it's because I'm more used to the quiet lifestyle, or it is just getting busier.
Especially Brisbane. The last 5 years in Brisbane, it's just like.
Yeah, so sold a house there 3 or 4 years ago now, and that was hard to do that because I was like, I did like it, I liked it there, but it just I needed to sell that to sort of move on and.
But I guess
do other stuff.
The nature of even the property price is like brass tacks of, yes, you sell a house and make a ton of money from it, but the property market keeps on going with or without you.
Yeah,
so it's going to be hard if you ever that's a kind of an all-out decision of we're going to cash out now. Under the knowledge that it's probably going to be very a lot more difficult if we ever decide to cash back in.
Yeah, exactly. But that's I guess without going into money, that's the thing. Never do that without reinvesting somewhere else. But the Territory stayed pretty flat still.
Yeah.
So we bought a house there, and then Brisbane's it's still pretty flat, but Brisbane just keeps going up, and I'm like,
right.
God damn it! But then it's like, what's Bailey, my daughter, going to do? She's 18. How's she ever going to get into this market? So I kind of need it to slow down, unselfishly, So we'll see what happens. But yeah, still love the Gold Coast. I still love the southern end of the Gold Coast. Like Palm Beach down is just amazing. So if I'm going to end up back anywhere, it might be down that way.
Okay.
But even so, that keeps getting busier. So yeah.
Yeah,
call.
It's crazy. And what's the difference between, because we're in Yulara, which is the town servicing Uluru, right in the centre, the very southern end of the Territory. What's the difference, having lived in most of the time in Darwin, between that tropical, I think it's 600, the first 600 k's or so from the coast, roughly, is the tropics, and then it gets more deserty. Have you noticed, even in the firefighting context, or life, is there a main divide?
Yeah, there is. There's it is different. So obviously the dryness of that air is just different. It is different. So obviously the humidity's down. There basically is none generally. But which means everything burns differently as well. Yeah. So everything reacts differently.
So how is that? Yeah. I can't imagine how I feel like I would intuitively better understand how things burn dry than tropical. I've never seen that happen.
Yeah, it's just the moisture content within, certain materials like timber, for example. It'll just burn much quicker down here.
Yes.
It'll just take off on us. Whereas in the tropical areas, start off, it's going to end the same, but it'll just start off a bit more lazy and a bit more steam.
Yeah. So once it's 1,000 degrees or whatever, it just doesn't care. But
Yeah. So once it takes off, it takes off. But so everything from your skin. The first couple of weeks of moving down here, I was like, oh no, I'm turning into an old man. Like skin's just dry as hell. And then on the flip side, you go back up to Darwin. I'm like, my skin's perfect, but I'm in a sauna. It's like constantly. So they're the little things. There's still good people down here. You are remote, like even though you do have got shops here and all that sort of stuff. You are remote, and you do.
I feel like that's a Yulara thing, though. Like if it's similarly small town anywhere else, probably wouldn't have the same resource and kind of liveliness about it because there's just so much money in tourism pumping through.
Yeah, it's crazy. So they're apparently back up to like 2019 levels, which was like a record year. So it's taken that long to come back since COVID, but it's a good vibe around here. But then creating and making relationships is always a little bit hard because people are here. A lot of people are here for the 88 days backpacker style. They're in and out, and then trying to recruit volunteers and auxiliaries and that. It's like, how long are you here for? Oh yeah, I should be here for a year. Oh, come on down. And then, actually no, I'm only here for 3 months now. I've got another job somewhere else. It's like, sorry, can't hire.
Okay. So that's part we didn't touch on the orgs, the auxiliaries and reserve stuff. How does that all work? Because I still don't really get that.
Yeah, so anyone that comes in that has a good criminal record and all that sort of stuff, and is going to be here for a while, we can sign them up as a volunteer. No worries. And then if they show a bit of commitment and there is space, let's say, it might take them a year of sort of being involved, and if they show a bit of promise, then we can pop them on as an auxiliary. And they get a bit extra training there. They get a few extra quals like breathing apparatus and and road crash and all that. But then they get a pager and then they get nominal amount to be on call. So they'll be on call and they get paid a retainer for that every fortnight. And then if they do turn out to calls, then they get paid as per hourly rate for that. So
a pager,
yeah, it's still pagers.
Because the charge is good on them, I guess.
Yeah, and they will work when the phones are somewhat down.
Really?
Yeah.
So is that not using the phone line?
Yeah, it's weird. It's if our system's down, our text system. So if the phones are down, then we're not going to get anything, are we? But if the text system, which is linked to our comms, is down, then pagers will still work to a point where they
modern telegraph.
Yeah, but you can't people like myself on my personal phone. I don't like notifications. Like everything's on silent.
That's why I was 5 minutes late to you here.
Yeah, I don't do it, but I have to with my work phone. But you see, the auxiliaries wear the pager quite proud, as well.
And around about town.
Yeah, and they love it, and I love that they love it. So. No, it's good, and it's you can't miss it,
Sure. How is it leading and training and managing a force of kind of, by definition, half in, half out kind of people, especially since you haven't been here 10 years, you yourself are kind of newish, how's that socially, I guess, the dynamic?
Yeah, it's pretty, it's challenging at times, so you got to make sure you're accounting for everybody in your training. So training, like last night, for example, we done communications with the radio communication, which seems like just a 5-minute thing, but it's not, because I had a few of the newer members ask, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. And they've done the training, but let's go over it again. So
over and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it is basic, but again, it's not like I've got to always tell myself, these people, they're not from.
No, but then there's that bloke who's been here 15 years or so.
Yeah. Oh, Daryl. Yeah. He knows everything. So he's good. He's a good old hand. He's one of those old blokes you look after. And it's good having him around training because, you have a bunch of people looking around, a hydrant. Oh, God, it's a bit sandy. I don't know what to do. And he'll be like, you dig it out, don't you? go get the shovel and dig it out. Like he saves me,
Sure.
sort of on them. But yeah, they'll just sit there, hands on the hips. Brand new people, that just haven't come across that before. But yeah, Jimmy, the guy that's actually my boss out here, who's been away more than he's been here since I've been here. He done a really good job in recruiting like good people, and I've just sort of tried to build on that since I've been here. And you got to cater for everybody, but we'll do some social events as well, and that helps. So we've got Christmas in July coming up on the 26th. So it's the same day as the marathon here.
Okay.
So a few of us will do a bit of a run in the marathon.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. Around Uluru, does it go?
No, unfortunately.
What?
Oh, I know. You would think.
Kidding? Like,
It's like,
what, around Yulara? That's
yeah.
perfect. Like, because we're about 15, 20 Ks. You
Yep.
get to go there, do a lap and come back.
Yep, it could be so good. But
What?
there's so many layers to, once you set foot in a national park, and then you got your cultural
Australia.
stuff, and then you've got one way in, one way out sort of thing, with buses. Like tourism's too important, it seems. And then, throw a few cultural layers on that. And I still can't see it.
Tourism would, like, because I imagine it's only really Yulara residents who are bothering to do this marathon.
Oh no, it's quite popular.
People come in for
People come in and the
Do they come in
spots
for
sell out.
thinking it's an Uluru one, though?
Some people might. Well, I did.
Yeah.
I was like, last year we were away, but I was like, I'm spewing I didn't get to do at least the 11K or 22.
They could make that a huge event if
It could
went
be
around.
one of the biggest.
That'd be the biggest in the country. You'd say, or other than like Melbourne and Sydney, like the actual middle of the city. But like,
it could be huge, but look, I couldn't even go into the layers that would.
and it's such a nice track. I just went on it barefoot the
Yeah.
other day. And it's great.
It could be good, couldn't it? But instead we've run around the trails around here.
I mean, it'd still be nice, and there's a lot. I mean, you see it all the time. So
But it could be something really special. But
maybe one.
maybe you never
Okay,
know.
so speaking about like Indigenous stuff, what has been your experience of Indigenous culture for like 13 years living in the Territory? I mean, answer that however you want, but I'm very interested because there's all sorts of talk about like Indigenous fire management techniques and knowledge and ancient wisdom and all that stuff. So
Yeah, it's been both. I'll be totally honest. It's been both positive and negative. We'll finish on the positive, but the negative, like I have had. So going back to the story, my place when I got broken into,
Malamute,
3 Indigenous youths in my house. I have been assaulted at a bus stop at a taxi rank. While I was waiting for a taxi. In the middle of the night, me and my mate were waiting, minding our own business, and a Indigenous bloke come up and punched me in the back of the head for no reason. Woke up in hospital. All the rest. Yeah, full job. Not right. I wasn't right for months really after that. And then, throw a few layers with certain jobs I've been to, but that I can't and shouldn't talk about. But then the positive side of it is, especially down here, they do a lot of fire management, which is really good. So being down here has actually been a bit of a more pleasant experience, we'll call it. It's been nice. So learn a few of the stories and whatnot from around the rock and the way it all works and worked all these years ago. I had Central Land Council in the other day come in. They're planning burns. They're doing this, and they've got these young guys, and they're getting their confidence up to go out and manage these areas with burns and look after the all the little endangered species and that live within. So they've got to identify where they are, and then they'll burn around them.
and these are all Indigenous guys.
Yeah. So that's real positive that's all happening, but they're still looking for a bit of leadership within, it seems. So I can't talk for them, but within their community with that sort of stuff, because it could be better. But at least they're out there doing it, which is really good.
So I remember being in the Kimberley, and we were really remote. So there was little helipad for the tourists to go on the heli tours.
Yeah.
But once these 2 blokes who were absolute cowboys came and landed, and we had dinner with them, and they were going around like setting spot fires to like manage the because it was the middle. It was like 500 k's from a road kind of thing. They weren't Indigenous, but like, does that stuff go on around here, chopper stuff?
It does. It actually is happening shortly, a bit further down the track. But yeah, they'll drop incendiaries out of the chopper, and that'll just it should just burn a section.
But how does it stop?
It'll burn out, because what we've got here, our sort of landscape is like discontinuous. So if you do it in the right wind conditions, it should, and the right side of the terrain, it'll either creep up that hill and that sort of dune and cruise along and do what you want. It'll burn a section. Sometimes they get it wrong and it keeps burning.
Because it doesn't make sense. Like, how does like half the state not go up if you're not careful?
Yeah, and that's all down to the planning. It's not something I've done, so I can't speak fully for it, but I'm pretty interested in it. It'd be good. But yeah, they'll go out and drop, and it'll just, you do it right time of year, of course, as well. So this time of year, cooler conditions, the wind's down, things are drying out, which is good. But in another month or two, like that window's gone. You won't be able to drop. Otherwise, it'll carry. Yeah. And you won't be able to pull it up. So yeah.
Interesting. And because I've heard over the years, like, Indigenous fire management, but I've also heard certain animals and bugs and stuff might have, that animalistic sixth sense of when a fire is going to happen or when a storm's going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about that kind of thing? Because like, how do they not all die? And I guess a lot of them probably do. But
yeah. Well, they sort of say with some of the little animals around here will, and lizards and whatnot, they'll survive the fire. That's all right. They get away with that, but then they'll get picked off by other animals later on because all their shelter's been burnt around. But as to like their sixth sense, no idea. But they just know whether it's vibration or whether it's noise or I don't know how. But yeah. Archie, go. Get out of it. Come on, go lay down.
You're looking for a
listening to me.
Okay. I mean, I'm basically out of questions. I guess what having gone through the whole, well, not the whole, but like a section of your perspectives and knowledge and unique to be, hippie about it, but experience on this planet, right?
Yeah.
Like, everyone has their own story and thing. Is there a certain, like, not that you have to identify with it yourself and it be your, Insta caption or something, but is there a lesson or a view or whatever, or a teaching maybe from the fire service that you wish more people in this world kind of had access to and heard and knew?
Oh, no, I don't really have too much to offer there. I just do what I do. Honestly, like I say it all the time. I was on the Teams call today saying I don't even know what it is I do. I just, get up in the morning and do whatever's in front of me. I'm a horrible planner. But it's just turn up and do the right thing. I don't know. There's no real reason, but it all just works out. It's always, if you want it to work out, it's going to work out, and you've got to work hard, of course, for certain things. But you make your luck. That's it. That's probably it. You make your luck, and there's no other way to do it. You can sit around, crying, poor me. Oh, I'm on the job site. Oh, I don't know anything else. Whatever. No, change it. Make your luck. So.
Sick.
That's probably it. Yeah.
That was epic. Well, thank you.
No worries.
Cheers.
That was a good chat. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, good.
Yeah, so I don't know what you'll get out of it, but
I think a lot. Yeah, that was when all sorts of different twists and turns that I didn't expect.
All right, there you go. Yeah, sorry if I waffled on about random.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for.
Random stuff, but yeah.